Hi, everyone, and welcome to Titan Talks. We are thrilled today to be joined by Myra Wilson. Myra is a stellar Salesforce Solutions Architect. We are absolutely delighted to have her today. And of course, I'm your host, Alice Meyer, Head of Content at Titan, no code solution for Salesforce. So, welcome, Myra. Are you excited to be here?
I am super excited. I'm so excited to talk to you and tell my journey. I've been waiting for this.
Great, great. So let's fire this one up. You actually started your Salesforce journey in marketing, but soon after that, you transitioned to an admin role. What prompted that shift for you?
So I first started, I was a trade show coordinator for a medical device company, and I was given the task of Salesforce randomly because I think it was like the head of sales was doing it, and he just didn't have time. So they wanted me to get our users engaged because they were still using like Excel spreadsheets. So they like, here, take it. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that was the beginning of my journey. I started looking more into Salesforce. Two of our reps came on site, and they just talked to me about getting certified and things of that nature. And that was really my first intro into Salesforce, was doing that marketing role.
Great. So it was a bit of a stroke of fate or luck
Yeah,
or
pretty much.
chance.
Yeah. Yeah. We were using it, but not to its full capacity. And it was really my job to figure out what that full capacity was.
Let's rewind to 2016, where you attended the Salesforce Admin Bootcamp. Word
Hmm.
on the street is that you wanted to leave the conference 201 certified, but you actually failed on the first attempt, but still managed to pass in 48 hours. How did that work? That's
I
wild.
did. Yeah. So let me rewind a little bit. Okay. So remember I told you that the reps came on site and they were talking to me about getting certified. So one of our Salesforce reps mentioned Dreamforce, and he's like, oh, if you get a chance to go to Dreamforce, you should definitely go. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I started looking at Dreamforce, and I seen that they had a boot camp that I could attend preceding it. So I like put together this whole like ROI evaluation to present to my boss, to say, hey, I think you should send me here. Like, I need to learn more about Salesforce. If I'm going to train people, I need to be trained, you know? And so I put all the costs down, I put all the benefits, and he's like, okay, fine, go. So I did the boot camp probably 3 days preceding Dreamforce. Mind you, this is my first Dreamforce, okay? So 3 days preceding, I was in a class for, I think it was 8 hours per day, just learning about the Salesforce admin, the certification, learning about what was going to be on the test, and just walking through all the functions of a Salesforce admin. So I got through that, and then comes the first day of Dreamforce. It was great, but it was very overwhelming. There's so much to do, there's so many people to see, and so it was a lot to take in. So that first day of Dreamforce was the day that I took my certification exam. I felt like I knew everything, because I had just got done with the boot camp. And so I took the test, and at the end it said failed. And I was like, what? I couldn't believe it. I was heartbroken. I had so many emotions going through my mind at the time, like, oh my God, I can't believe that I actually failed it. Lucky for me, that was the first year that they started giving out like weights. So I knew what areas I did good in and what areas I didn't do so well in. So leaving out of the room, I signed up to take the test again the next day. And instead of like going out after the first day of Dreamforce, hanging out and going to the events, I went straight back to my hotel, and I studied in the areas that I didn't do so well in. Like I had to leave with the certification. Like that's what I kept telling myself, like pick yourself up, like don't sulk in this moment, like go take it again. So I went the next day and I passed it. And that was the day that I was actually leaving. That was my fifth day in San Francisco.
Wow. And that's a really inspiring story for aspiring Salesforce professionals, or especially those who, like you, are just getting in and are, maybe tasked with trying to maximize Salesforce in their business and are just getting started. What do you think the lesson is there? Because I think it's a wonderful story.
You may fail the first time. It is fine. Like it's okay. If you were to fail, you go and try again. Like that's like a life lesson. You will not get everything the first time that you try it. You have to try again. You have to take your time and really learn what you're doing. And it's okay to fail. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to feel it, but then you move past that feeling and you get back to your goal, which is to do whatever you were trying to do, and you try it again. And if you got to try it a third time or a fourth time or a fifth time, you keep going until you reach what you're trying to reach.
Yeah, so now fast forward to 2024, and you're way beyond that initial certification. After working as an admin in, various cities across the US, you're now a solutions architect. Tell
Yeah.
me about that leap and that transition.
So my first Salesforce admin role actually was in Chicago. So I'm in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So I'm like an hour and a half from Chicago, really big city, of course. And I worked downtown. I loved it so much, right? So I commuted there daily, and then I end up after doing that for like 8 months, I came back to a role in Milwaukee. And then I was contacted via LinkedIn by a company based in Sunrise, Florida. And I didn't take it too seriously because I'm like, oh, why are you reaching out to me? And so I ended up flying down for the interview and getting a job. And I was like, okay, so I guess I'm moving to Florida. Yeah, I think everybody should probably experience living outside of their hometown. With that, I was very scared. I was kind of nervous because I knew I was going down there alone, but it was an experience that I really wanted to have. So I worked in Florida for a year and then I came back home again. So I am back home. I've been back home probably since 2019, I think, and I've been remote since then. But yeah, those roles were admin roles that I did. And like being in all those different orgs, it let me see so many different ways people do things. Like I got to see different business processes. I got to work in an org that had 12,000 users. I got to work in an org that had 20 users. So it was just being able to see the difference in the org that I think helped me to become a solution architect. What actually happened there was that the company that I was working for, I've been working for about 5, 6 years now, they were acquired by a bigger company, and they were putting together a digital transformation team. So right now we're working on this huge project where we're rolling 32 orgs into one super org. And so they asked me to come over as a solution architect because I was really keen on the overall Salesforce system, the architecture of it, and how it integrates with other tools. So that's kind of how I transitioned from the admin to the solution architect role.
Wow, that's a fascinating story, and it sounds like all these wonderful opportunities came your way that you made for yourself when you were presented with them through being proactive and obviously caring about the community and caring about how best to implement Salesforce.
Right.
Now that you are a solutions architect, you can probably tell other people what are the challenges that you're faced with. What's your typical career path? What's the good, the bad, and the ugly about being a solutions architect?
So I really like it. First of all, I never even imagined, like when I was younger, I never thought that I would be in tech, period. So, being in tech is something that's very exciting for me. And there are paths that you think that you are going to take. Like I figured, oh, I go from an admin to a senior admin, or I thought about going from an admin to a developer. And so I didn't go that way. So I went to be a solution architect. And one drawback that I experienced was more so working on the back end of the system instead of working on the front end. So I don't communicate with my end users as much as I used to because I'm not on that side. I'm not an admin. I'm not really doing the work in the system. So I'm not doing that piece. When you work with Salesforce, I feel like you get to know a lot of different departments and people in your role because so many people use Salesforce. It can be used for, service. It can be used for finance. It can be used for commerce. So you meet so many different people and work with so many different teams doing that. So now I'm looking at like the overall architecture and I'm looking at how it integrates with other tools. So being a solution architect has given me that big picture view. And it has also helped me to learn other tools because I'm looking at the integrations and how Salesforce integrates with these tools. I mean, there's good and bad parts to every role, but I really like the progression of my role and how it ended up going.
Yeah, and it's a phenomenal accomplishment, and we can't wait to see what you have planned next. So, you obviously, one of the reasons we're interviewing today is not just because of your career achievements, but because you are an active player in the Salesforce community. You care about giving back. We saw you engaged at the admin keynote at Dreamforce at 2023, which is pretty cool, given that you arrived trying to be certified in 2016. So. That's a full circle right there. But can you take us through that process? What message did you want to convey, and how important important do you think it is to share your knowledge and experience, including the importance of diversity in tech?
Yeah, definitely. I have been waiting to talk about this experience. It was such an amazing experience. I was so honored. So let me take you back. So I started doing sessions, I think it was 2022. The first session I did was at TDX 2022. I presented in Dreamforce 2022. So in 2023, I got a LinkedIn request from Jillian Bruce, the admin evangelist at Salesforce. We all know Jillian. She's at all the admin keynotes, like we know her. And so she wrote me on LinkedIn. And first of all, I didn't think she knew who I was at all. So she wrote me and she said, "Hey, I wanted to discuss a potential opportunity for Dreamforce with you." And I was like, "With me? Me?" Right. So I wrote her back like, "Of course." Like, yes, yes, yes. So she set a meeting for us. I met with her and Lisa Dick, who is also on the admin team. And we talked about, being in the admin keynote. They wanted me to kind of share my story and my use case for, using MuleSoft Composer. So yeah, so not only was this such a great opportunity for me and a chance to be on the big stage and become more known in the Salesforce ecosystem, but it also gave me a chance to tell my use case for Composer because my company was a early adopter. So I really went through the whole process with them, the pain points, the building out the trailheads and actually being integrator of this tool first. So walking people through that was just great for me. And having people see me up on the stage and, afterwards people were coming to me asking me about MuleSoft, telling me that they were inspired by me, and those type of things just really made me feel so great. As far as the diversity piece, I spoke recently at TDX 24 and I was on a leadership panel, a women's leadership panel, talking about women in tech, and how we need to have more women in tech, and specifically for me, women of color in tech.
Mm.
We occupy, I think, probably less than 5% of the tech industry. And it's very important to me that, we increase those numbers. So
Mm.
people reach out to me all the time. They write me on LinkedIn asking me how can they get into Salesforce, and I'm directing them to Trailhead and I'm letting them know that I am a resource. If you need me to be a resource, I'm definitely here. A lot of people don't know how to get into using Salesforce or becoming certified. So I try to just walk them through that. But I'm really trying to engage with women of color who want to get into Salesforce or get into tech, because I think those numbers need to be increased because we need some representation there.
For me, one of the biggest things with diversity in tech, and of course having women of color in Salesforce specifically, is that, oftentimes people look at it from the perspective, oh, this is an opportunity for those individuals that maybe
Mhm.
didn't get an opportunity before, but it's much more than that. It's
Yeah,
actually about enriching the tech. Because if you're not bringing in the full spectrum of society, then you're losing out on a whole bunch of skills, right? And
agreed.
I think that's really important in terms of showcasing that piece, which is often overlooked.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, getting the different perspectives and everything. I think that's one of the best reasons of why we need to increase the diversity.
Yeah, it makes tech so much richer and more
For
exciting.
sure.
So speaking of this kind of upliftment, you are thinking of bringing young people into the Salesforce ecosystem early on.
Yes, yes,
What's your plan? I mean, I would have loved that. I mean, I obviously Salesforce wasn't a thing when I was a kid, but
right.
what's it like today? How would you do that?
I'm really still thinking through it. So the kids of our time right now, like they know tech very well. Kids know how to work phones, they know how to work tablets, they know how to play YouTube videos, they're on TikTok and stuff. So kids are really tech savvy to the point where they can really learn how to use a specific program. My mother, she's an elementary school teacher. As I was coming up, I was around kids a lot, and I just think that them learning early on is so great because by the time they get to being a teen or being able to work, they'll already have these skills learned. So I'm really trying to partner with maybe like the elementary, middle school type of kids and try to put together like maybe a summer program where they can learn how to use Salesforce. Some kids already know how to code. Like it's just crazy. They have coding camps for children, And so trying to incorporate them learning an actual CRM tool or a tool that they can get certified in as they get older. I think that is a great initiative. And I'm just still trying to figure out how I want to do that, but I definitely want to be a part of it. I want to, be one of the creators or teachers of these classes, whether it be virtual, whether it be in person, but trying to put together maybe like a little summer program that I can do, and pick an age range of children that I can introduce to the Salesforce ecosystem.
Yeah, I mean that's super exciting. I guess now it's going to become like literacy, like any other,
Yeah, exactly.
at a younger and younger age, which is pretty cool. Now, tell me, now that we've sort of gotten through, a lot of your story, what do you think is the most exciting news or innovation in Salesforce for 2024? Obviously, every other week we're getting something to do with AI rolled out, but what are you looking at? What's interesting you?
AI is what I'm looking at. I am looking at AI. I'm so excited. For TDX, I did a session on using Composer with AI to, send prompts over to Salesforce and use Flow Builder to create automations there. So really digging into AI and Composer or just AI period. I actually am on a new the leadership team for a new Dreaming and Data conference. So that conference is going to be stemming around like MuleSoft and Tableau, more of your like analytics and integrations and talking about those tools. So I'm super excited about that to actually meet that community and talk to them about, what the future is of those tools. But yeah, as far as what I'm excited about, I'm definitely excited for the next Dreamforce that's coming up. I'm excited to hear about any new products that are coming out, but AI specifically. Salesforce kind of makes the learning fun and makes the presentations fun. So are we getting a new app character? What are we getting next? So yeah, I'm always excited for the new things that Salesforce is bringing out.
And for Myra, what are the next 12 months look like? What's your plan? What are your biggest goals for you?
For me, I do want to start that whole initiative for the children. So I do want to do that. I do want to get another cert. So I'm looking to figure out what cert I want to do. But I do want to get another cert, probably something MuleSoft focused. So I'll be looking into that. I want to just continue to learn how to be a better solution architect. So just continuing there. Yeah, just continue being an influence in the Salesforce community. I'm very active on LinkedIn, so I'm going to continue to share my knowledge, share blog posts, share anytime that I'm going to be presenting, doing more virtual webinars on MuleSoft. So there's a lot, but it happens every day. I'm doing something else. So it's exciting.
Yeah, it is really exciting. Well, thank you, Myra. I've loved this conversation and it's been fascinating to learn from you. I think, if anything, what people can take away from this is that you can actually be what you want to be in the blink of an eye if you put your mind to it. Blink of an eye might be 6 years, but I think what you've managed to accomplish, say, between the years 2016 and say 2024 is phenomenal. So it's been really inspirational to hear from you.
Yeah, thank you. And I do just want to drive home that, people try to build out their path and sometimes your journey is totally different from what you think it's going to be. And so just take it how it comes. You just never know what opportunities you will be presented with, but just stick on your goal. And if your path changes, just go with the flow and, let things happen for you as they come.
For sure. I think that skill of flexibility and adaptability is going to be even more in any career path in this new AI era. I remember that when I was in school, they had a career kind of representative talk to us and, talk to us about what we want to be. And of course, we were all hardly listening, so it wasn't a real class. But this guy, this old guy stood up in front of us and he's like, we have worked out that in your generation, you will each have 7 careers each. This is the new generation. He said, gone are the days where you just work for one firm and you stay there.
Yeah.
And we all woke up for that. We heard that and we were like, what? But it doesn't seem so far off now with the kinds of new opportunities we're being presented with, especially in tech and Salesforce. There are so many options to explore. So I love that.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And getting that, being in different orgs and being in different roles really helps you to kind of figure out what you want to do and what your place is. So I think it's helpful to kind of not jump around too much, but actually, try different things on your career journey.
Yeah, for sure. So thanks, Myra. Have a great day, and we'll be hopefully chatting to you again soon.
You too. Thank you so much. It's great talking to you, Alice.